Hello and welcome to the J&J podcast. Today you have Jay, Jamie, and Eamon again. And where should we start this week? What's going on,
What's
guys?
going on, Jay?
Not too much.
I feel like we might start at the band that I did wrong.
The band you did wrong.
Yeah, because apparently I'm a
What band
jackass
did you do wrong?
and can't read. Because we were going to do a review and I did the wrong band. We were supposed to do Brothers of Metal, which I did end up doing that one album. But the band I did do was not the right band. Or we can just save it for later because I know what I think.
You cut out there for a second. What was that?
We can just save it for later because I know what I think. It's not going to change.
That feels like censorship.
What?
Save it for later?
Okay, I got nothing.
We were going to talk about Brothers of Metal, more along the first album I was listening to this week. I mean, I think you're more familiar with
Brothers of Metal. I am, but the other one I'm not very familiar with. No, Brothers of Metal. Here's how I came across them. I had it on my Apple radio on a heavy metal station or whatever, and their songs kept coming on. I was like, oh, that's cool. I looked down and said Brothers of Metal. Cool. I put it in memory. And a couple other times, a couple other songs came on. I said, let me look these jokers up. I looked them up, and there's like 9 people in the band. There's like 3 guitarists, 3 singers, a bass player. Right there, when I first saw that, I was like, I'm out. Why? I'm out. Unless they're, because they're dressed like Vikings. I think it's cool what they were dressed like or whatever. I was like, maybe it's all their friends and they want to keep a friend out. So they said, yeah, you can join the band. Hell, I don't know. So when
everybody's part of the group.
Everybody gets a trophy.
Yeah.
And so I put them to the side and said, no. To me, it's if a band looks good, then I'll look into them. If it's like that, I was like, no, forget it. So I don't pay them any attention. And then they kept coming on and on. I was like, you know what? Let me listen to that first record. I put that first record on. I was like, holy shit, this is good. And then I watched some of their live shows, and I was like, okay, I got to really dig into it. Okay, yeah, I don't like the fact that the stage has more people on it than there's room for, but whatever. It works for them. The music sounds good. And then I was like, oh, they've got a growler. I was like, God, is that what this guy's going to do is growl? And then her voice, angelic voice, comes out, and I'm like, oh, I dig this. Like, his growling and her voice, they just complement each other. I'm like, hey, this is good. I was like, all right, usually the first record when a band puts it out, it's mediocre. I thought it was good. I liked it. There were a couple of songs on there like I could do without, but for a first record, I was like, holy shit, this is a good band. I may even go see them if they ever come up here, I'll just have to look through having 9 people on stage or 8 people, however many. It's like a whole Viking tribe, whatever. But her, and because it's 3 singers, I don't know what the other guy does. Because every time I watch them, it's only those 2 singing. But there's the growler and the girl. And they both complement each other. Yeah. And the guitar work is good. And what I like about it, it's not overly produced. It would be so easy to overly produce all those instruments that are in. It really would be. Mm-hmm. And I thought they stuck straight to the basics. The solos didn't have to be like, oh, look how fast I can play. It sounded good. It was melodic. I dug it. I was like, okay, I think I'm going to download this record and listen to it because now I can't wait for November, I think 2nd for the new record to come out. Yeah, for the third. Is it November 2nd, I think, or something?
Yeah, it's something like that.
So I can't wait. So I'm going to download the 2nd record and listen to it and kind of get ready because I'm like, usually by the third album, they fixed all their little mistakes, did this or whatever, and those are usually your albums that are going to be really good. I thought they were November 1st. November 1st. Yeah, and I can't wait. I mean, I already have it downloaded. It just won't pop up on my Apple Music until until the day of. So I'm ready for it. Yeah, I like it. I thought she was and here's the deal. What's up with all these bands with female singers? That's become like a big thing, and it's working. It's working.
I think it's bigger overseas because you don't have that many on this side of the ocean. But for more singers, like you got Lizzie Hale and you got The Warning, and we got Amy Lee with Evanescence. They are becoming more in the forefront of rock and
that's awesome, man. I mean, it sounds good. It sounds really good. And
yes, it does.
And I love it because they sing during the time period that I'm really into. Norse mythology, right? They sing about Vikings. Most of the record, if not the whole record, talks about, you know, Odin and his sons and all that. And I like it. It's a theme. And that's what you're finding with all these European bands. Everybody's like, hey, this is a theme we're going to sing about.
That was the first thing I noticed, was the theme of all of the Viking stuff in the background. It reminded me of Rhapsody, who is now Rhapsody of Fire, who did a lot of, they have the series, The Power of the Dragon Flame, which is all the medieval times and all that.
See, that's cool. I like that because, you know, I think we've already had enough of what we're used to. Just like my girlfriend left me, I'm sad. Nobody wants to hear that crap anymore, you know. And again, grunge. I go back to grunge. Oh, look how crappy my life is. Feel sorry for me. Let's sing about homeless people putting their head on concrete and sleeping, using concrete as a pillow or whatever. I don't give a shit. You know, the thing is, that's too bad, whatever. But hell, everybody's got issues. I want to be, when I listen to music, I want to be able to just, you know what, I'm going to leave this world behind and just put on my headphones and listen to music and get away from it. And so you do that. You know, there was one song, I don't know, with the band that they sing about dragons. I mean, holy cow. You know, you've got all these bands with their own.
Was that Rhapsody?
With their own way of singing things, and I like it.
Yeah. I like. There was one song that started with I think an acoustic guitar on this first album. I think it was probably 4 songs in.
What was that? Yep.
Yeah, because it was a nice change.
Oh, Defenders of Valhalla. Yeah.
Yeah, because you get your usual stuff, and was pretty much all your usual stuff, and then you get that one, kind of stands out, and like, oh, okay, and you get more of the story element that goes along with it.
The one that stood out to me was the Mead song. I was like, okay, I can. Oh man, I dig it. I mean, I dig it. The Mead song really got me. I was like, oh yeah, they did good on this one. The one that was the very first one I ever heard that came through the radio with, and I can't pronounce it because there's no vowels in the first 4 letters. It's YGG Drassel, Yig Drassel. I don't know. That's how.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how they say that. Yeah, I remember the song. I heard it a couple times today, actually.
But it's like, what does it mean? What is it? I mean, maybe in parentheses, I don't know. Maybe I need to learn Swedish because it seems like Swedish metal's where it's at, and it's like I want to pack my shit and move over to Sweden and say, fuck it, I'm just gonna listen to music. Because it's you know, it's not only just beautiful people, it's beautiful country, and now they've got beautiful music. Holy shit.
I'm kind of curious how the radio stations work. Can you turn on the radio and actually hear all these
I don't
bands
know.
on them?
I don't know.
Hey, if there's anyone from Sweden listening, hey, let us know.
Because if not, I'll come down there, open up a heavy metal station, and say, fuck it, this is what we're just going to play. Sabaton, Battle Beast, you know, all these guys. Go with it. Just listen to it. But it's probably like here, it's real commercialized, and, you know, whatever's poppy makes it go through. But, you know, you look at videos of Hellfest and Whack and all that, and it's like 200,000 people are there. Are you serious? You know? So there's a following for sure.
Well, I know Wacken is, I believe that's in Germany.
But to me, it's Europe.
So, hey, you can make sure to say Avantasia.
And I think Hellfest is in France, if I remember right. But the fact is, all these festivals in Europe, you know, all these bands are there, which is, I dig it, man. I said, that's my ultimate. That's on my bucket list. I got to go and see one of those festivals.
It'd be great. You just get the airfare and you're all set.
Well, hotel too. So,
although the one thing I did notice for that one their first album, what was it? Prophecy of Ragnarok. There is a lot of songs on here. Like they got 14 songs, which is a lot. Like because normally you might get 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, and 14 good songs. I mean. Mm-hmm. They're good. I'm looking through here trying to find which one is my least favorite, and I don't know. I mean, they're all good in their own little way, their own little special way. But like I said, Mead song stuck out to me. Yegder Drassel. I want to know what that means. I'm going to Google it. How do you have a word without vowels? Holy shit.
Well, it's got an A and an I.
Son of Odin was cool. If you pull up and read the lyrics along with it, it's really cool.
Although, like on this album, I was a little bit on the fence for it because, like, okay, you know, I like the songs. It wasn't something I would listen to, like, rush out to listen to, but the songs are good. There is a few that stand out, and for me, there was more that stood away. But I also started listening to their second album just to see how they progressed. I didn't get into the second album enough to actually know any of the songs, but for the sound quality for what they're doing, there's a big improvement. Just
is there? Okay, yeah, that's why I can't wait to hear the third album. You know, I can't wait to hear it. I want to see how much it changes and goes.
Yeah, because I know they got that teaser song out there. I don't know. I did just throw it on random at work too, so I might have heard the teaser and not even noticed.
Well, what was it? Which teaser song are you talking about?
They did have one from the new album that was on here. Just give me a second here.
Because the record, or I keep calling it record, the new album that I downloaded, the first 8 songs are blacked out. I can't use them, but 9 to 13 you can listen to. But I don't know if those are old songs that they've just redid on there.
No, they did an EP.
They did, okay. That Heavy Metal Vikings, The Other Son of Odin, Berserker, are those the ones you're talking about? Okay.
Yep. Nana's Fate, Fimbul.
Yeah, Fimbul Winter. Yeah.
That's it. So I might have already heard those, but I did notice, like, well, at least for me, I feel like there was a big, just sound quality. Like, even if they just had someone else mixing it for them, between that first album and the second
good.
album.
I can't wait. Yeah, these I weren't sure if they're the new songs, but it is off their EPs on it, so they just went ahead and put it on this record.
Yeah. Well, normally, like, especially when you have like 14 songs on an album, you're going to have a bunch in advance that you get recorded because it's going to take a long time.
Okay, and they just put them out and get ready. Okay.
Just that easy teaser. Hey, we're going to have something new coming out. Here's our first single.
Okay.
Or here's our first
no, that's cool.
EP. Like, even Linkin Park was doing that.
Yeah.
They got 2 new songs out now. I like
the song about The Other Son of Odin.
I see.
That's song number 10.
I don't know if I've heard it yet.
But it's cool. I mean, because if you're into Thor and Odin and all that mythology, this stuff just hits home with me. I'm like, holy shit, this is good. This is taking me on a journey somewhere, and I'm just, it's cool.
And it's not just all made up either. Like, it's actually part of the mythology.
No, it's just, it's just stuff that, and that's the thing. I feel so dumb because they sit there and sing about world history stuff. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that.
I do get that quite a bit, actually. So
shoot, okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, it's all, whether it's battles that have been done before or through mythology or whatever stories were that happen around. They're singing on. I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, well, about the history aspect, like there's a bunch of groups, like I believe Sabaton does that. They talk about past
battles,
battles.
Just any battle. Yeah, they're all.
Iron Maiden has a lot of history in their songs.
Not as much as Sabaton.
No, just in groups right now.
Sabaton is everything. Oh, you guys can hear me now.
All right, we can hear you. Switch to the laptop.
Didn't have a choice. I don't know why this would work and the other one wouldn't, but same old, same old. Yeah. See, now I'm too close. I'm too ugly to be this close.
Just sit back a little.
I can't. Then
that's good.
Way over here and not on the camera. So I didn't like what you were saying you did like.
Well, it's not for everyone. I believe they're more of a niche market.
Yeah, I'm not that niche. It just didn't hit with me.
Yeah, so like there was people who were doing like pirate type battle.
Yeah.
Hellstorm. I love
it. I don't disagree with the things you were saying about them. It just didn't hit with me.
Well, you're definitely not a fan of someone who is more of a growler for singing.
No, I'm really not. That's the one problem I have with Amaranth.
By the way,
but at least
you're right. 82nd All the Way is phenomenal. Holy shit, that was good. Yeah.
By Amaranth?
No,
Sabaton.
Yeah. I was like, I kept listening to it over and over and over.
It just moves
quicker. I went and actually checked out the original, and I'm like, I want the Amaranth version.
Yeah, so do I. It just moves a little quicker. It feels different. Like it's the same song. They didn't change it. They didn't
different.
It just Maybe it's just the guitar sound. I don't know, but it hits different.
It's cool. It sounds good. It sounds real, real good. They did a good job on that.
Well, everybody has their own recording style.
Yeah. Okay, what else did I miss?
We've been mainly talking about that first album by Brothers of Metal.
Yeah. Okay, so I didn't like it. It just didn't hit with me. Apparently they have another one, and Jay likes it better. He said it just sounds different, so I want to try the other one too. Like, I don't want to just go, no, I don't like them. But the first album just didn't hit right with me.
Well, they didn't change their personal sound. It's just the way it was recorded. Like, they changed the person.
Maybe they got a different producer or something.
Yeah. Sometimes that matters.
Okay, because their sound is still their sound.
Yeah.
It just, for me, it sounded different.
And
so, like, it improved.
I'm not a big growly guy.
Well, I'm not either. And that's why what I was saying when I first heard him, I saw there was a growler. I was like, no, I'm out. But then when she sings and he's singing along with her with his growling, it sounds really good. They do a good job of putting them both together. Now, Jay, I do have a question for you. What do you think of having 9 members in a band? It's like a small orchestra. I can't get over that.
It's okay. So for me, it's too much. However, I am a fan of Mumford & Sons. And I know they have a bunch of people up there.
Sons and uncles and grandparents or whatever. I mean, it's people there.
Yeah.
I can't, man. Maybe 2 guitars, one, but all right, 2 guitars, bass player, drummer, singer, and maybe a keyboard. 6 at the most. But 9, 8, 9, however many you got.
Yeah, that's what happened to Guns N' Roses in the later years.
Well, also Nathaniel Ratcliffe and the Night Sweats. There's a whole bunch of people there too.
Yeah.
Now they're nowhere close to rock or metal or anything like that. They are their own thing, but there's a lot of people in that band too. But they sound good.
And they don't. I'm a very visual person, and just watching somebody on stage and there's 9 people on there, and the 2, especially when you have 2 singers who it's not their turn to sing, they're just kind of standing there walking around. I can't do it. I can't do it. Yeah. At least guitar, where they're playing rhythm, one's tuned up, one's tuned standard, one's half step down or full step, and it sounds good when you merge the guitars. But 3 guitars, hell, I don't know.
Well, Maiden's got 3 guitars.
3 guitars with Iron Maiden.
Yep.
Murray.
Adrian Smith and Yannick Gers.
Okay, that's got to be later Maiden. He's
been with them since.
I think it's been that way since Bruce came back.
Wow, the album is eluding my brain right now.
I don't know. I just think it's just that's my only downfall with them, but it works for them. They've got a following and people love them. I mean,
Brave New World. Yeah. One of my favorite ones.
Your favorite one?
Yeah. One of my favorite ones. He sings around there. Funny story about that is his audition for. I think he was there before Adrian Smith came back. I think he actually replaced Adrian Smith, and then Adrian Smith came back. So and instead of kicking somebody out, they just added
whatever.
I think I don't know 100%, but I know.
Sure, was it Yannick?
Yeah, that's who replaced him.
Oh, okay. And then
Adrian Smith came back with Bruce Dickinson.
Yeah.
But the funny story is, and I know this because I saw an interview when they were talking about it. His audition was a song by his former band, and apparently it sounded identical to 2 Minutes to Midnight. But it wasn't 2 Minutes to Midnight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. I think it was a Steve Harris interview where I saw that, and he was talking about it.
I might have to try to find that one.
But anyway, I probably talk about Iron Maiden too much anyway. So,
but for bands with a lot of players, I don't mind it as long as they have the sound.
And that's what right. And they have the sound. It works for them.
Yeah, because there's even one band, I don't remember their proper name. I just call them the Hippie Band. And there was a whole bunch of different people on stage, and everyone was playing a different instrument.
At all. Hippie Band.
I can't even find it right now. I'll have to look it up. I actually wrote an article about them at one point, and I got a lot of views on them. But they're more of like a jazz funk
I can see
type
that.
of thing.
I see that. But we're talking about heavy.
They had the long hair and the really loose clothing, like from the 60s era, 60s, 70s. And they looked the part and they sounded the part. It was actually pretty good.
Okay, so there is a band that I absolutely love that has a bunch of people in it.
Who?
Okay.
Chicago.
Who?
Chicago.
Whatever.
I think we talked about them. No, you talked about them briefly before.
Like, it's a different style of music than we normally talk about. I mean, I am allowed to like other stuff.
No. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having 15 people in your band. I don't care. I'm just talking about the stage show part of it. It's like the two guys who aren't singing, they're just kind of standing around, walking around, and I don't get it.
Well, that's the thing with Chicago. They all play something.
Fine. I don't give a shit. Stick a banjo in their hands and act like they're playing something. Do something. Add another guitar. You already got 3 guitars. Have 2 more, 5 guitars. Everybody gets a guitar. You know, I don't know. I just visually, I'm not. Yeah.
As long as they're all doing something, you don't want someone just standing around.
Yeah,
it was Gypsy Ghosts.
Never heard of them.
I saw them at Rock the Park, and they're still going.
I didn't see them at Rock the Park.
No, you weren't with me at that time. I think this is when I took my son. Like, it was a while ago. I wrote the article in 2014.
Oh, so it was a minute ago.
Yeah. They've grown bigger since I initially saw them, but they're still they're a Canadian band, and they're still touring pretty good right now. So, they weren't too bad. They were definitely not what we talk about.
No. That's why.
But they did a good show, and they looked the part.
Yeah, it's hard for me to go against the stuff that we actually talk about, because that's the stuff I like the most.
Well, I like to see new things. Certain areas, not so much.
I don't need new things. I have lots of different things that are old. I'm good.
I was going to say, there's lots of music to explore.
Yeah. We'll try and, like, when I get a hold of that second album from that Brothers in Metal, because I don't want to just one album and just be done with it. I want to actually give them a good chance.
Well, if you wait too long, you'll have 2 more albums to check out.
Well, I mean, if it sounds the same as the first 2, I'm not going to care. You know what I mean? So we'll see. I'm not just going to one album and it sucks, because every band has at least one album.
Do you really think it sucks, though? What'd you like about it?
It just didn't hit with me. Like, I felt nothing.
So normally, how normally has some way of resonating with it.
Yeah.
It just doesn't resonate with you.
It just didn't hit with me.
Yeah, maybe it's because I'm really into Norse mythology, and that's why it hit.
That's why it hit with you pretty good, is because you're into that right now.
Well,
and their songs definitely are.
But so am I, and that's what I don't really get. The growling really does throw me. I'm just not a growly guy. I like clean singing.